Thank you so much for joining us on the news on Ghana News TV. In this particular period, issues of illegal mining or Galamsey has become so topical, being discussed on social media and also on traditional media. A lot of questions have been asked. How did we get here? What can we do so that we can solve this issue of Galamsey in the country completely? I have a very, very educated and elite person in this area that will delve into the issue so we have a clear understanding of what we can do as a country and the modernization and digitizations that we can do or add to Galamsey, so this issue will rather bring some productiveness to the country than the negative things we see around. Dr. Kpoder is my guest. You get to understand him, get to know him, and certainly you get to fall in love with him. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the news. My name is Derek Kwame Boche. Now, Doc, you're welcome to the show. It's a huge pleasure to have you on the news on Ghana News TV.
Thank you, Derek. It's my pleasure to be here.
Dr. Kpoder, who is he? Let's get into understanding who you are before we get into the conversation. Who is Dr. Kpoder?
Well, today I will just say my name is Kpoder. I'm a businessman, but if I want to give a little bit of my background, I started school in Ghana like everybody. I went to Europe, mainly France. I stayed in France. I did my first degree in business law and taxation. Did 2 others in development engineering and artificial intelligence. Went to the French Institute of Political Studies, but most of them were more institute and distance, which Ghanaians and other English-speaking countries don't understand the process. So okay. I made sure that I went to do George Washington University to do my master's.
Great.
And business administration and marketing of financial products before I came back to do my PhD in finance and banking in France. By that level, the French naturally now accepted that they will transform my student stay permit into a full resident permit, and in actual fact they gave me the French nationality, of which gave me also opportunity to work with the French government, UN, World Economic Forum, and became a consultant advisory. My office was based on the Presidential Street, Élysée, 200 years, which means that I was a business consultant of first class, travel around the world advising French multinationals and then doing partnerships all over. Using those skills, and I believe very much that transfer of technology and a win-win situation is good for Africa. And I've been back for a while now and trying to pursue also a dream legacy, which incidentally goes to deal with the minerals, particularly gold.
So, for the number of years that you've been in Ghana, how would you describe the gold sector of our economy?
Well, I don't want to go to expressions that people use. The Govt economy is still around. We are still producing raw materials, and in fact, producing them not as good as we did in the past. Things are not better from agriculture to zoology. There's no need to say it otherwise. In fact, even Ghana was, if you take cocoa, Ghana was the first world producer of cocoa. We are now second. If you take anything, tomatoes, anything, just name it. Both cash crops as well as this thing that we consume, we are not doing well. From industry point of view, a lot of things have not been able to take up properly. Since the first regimes in Ghana during Kwame Nkrumah time were more state-owned enterprises, there has been a lot of instabilities, both political and social, which have not permitted a real burgeoning of industrial development. However, successive governments have taken up the possibility of increasing productivity in all those areas. I believe in more mechanized agriculture and more mechanized technologies to use in different fields and transfer of expertise on a larger scale. But at the same time, some areas will require that we move, not will remain, and because if you know the different industrial or economic revolutions that exist, We are now almost in the fourth industrial revolution, which requires expertise like artificial intelligence and digitization. And this could apply to almost all the sectors of our economy, including services, including even our city, including primary productions like mining and the rest. And I have a strong belief and desire that the only way we can take care of this Galamsey problem efficiently, if you allow me later in the discussion, I will give you more details on how.
Now let's get into it at once. So, if we continue to refer to illegal mining as Galamsey, is that really Galamsey?
Yes. Okay. The word Galamsey means gather and sell.
Great. Gather and sell.
That is in Galamsey.
Oh, I see.
And the Francophone neighboring countries also, because Ghana is not the only one. Africa is a geological scandal that God has given us. We are poor, but we have a very rich potentials, both in resources, including even human resources, as it's coming up. So gather and sell mean that the gold is almost to the surface, so you can collect. But usually we do things in more of our own style without using very, industrial methodologies as well as technologies to work. As such, also we don't also pay attention to certain human conditions under the distances. We have not really moved properly into industrial activities in the past, as I was saying initially. And for that matter, there is a lot of challenge in the whole economy.
When do we classify mining to be illegal? Or what do we look at to determine that this mining is illegal?
That's right. There are a lot of conventions, both sectorial, meaning in the sector,
exactly,
as well as international laws which govern activities. So if you employ a young boy, a young man, a woman in a certain way, if you use certain chemicals, if you don't get certain environmental protection laws in place, if you just not reap at all the benefits of what God given, that is given to us. So the regulation, the standardization of methodologies, of ways and processes to do the work is very important. But the challenge we face here is that since governments have decided in the last 30 years to allow indigenous people to do mining, it is more what we call small-scale mining. And if you have to get environmental protection, you have to get this concession, you don't know which, some even don't know the real effect of mercury. Some do, but for economic reasons and challenges or social reasons, they just neglect it and just to survive. So some of the chemicals used, the processes, sometimes even though we say it's on the surface, gather and sell easily, you also have to dig a lot of earth. So mechanization come in, you bring, you've heard a lot about these excavators and the rest, and the soil being moved, creating other problems and the rest. So all those things pollute the environment, and therefore there are legislations which cover all those things, but it looks so complex. In fact, even to register a company, to get a concession, to know whether there is gold there, where to start from, how to go about it, how to get it to the market, how to sell it. Most of the people too are not very educated. And that is the only way to their source of living. So it is more like a jungle. And that kind of non-performance or mining without respecting certain international norms and regulations, either sectoral or international human rights laws and the rest, or industrial laws, make it called illegal mining. In actual fact, just with a small transition without talking about Galamsey, in actual fact, almost all sectors, I will even say the multinationals also do some Galamsey. So the Galamsey
are you saying that even the big mining companies that we know all across Africa, they engage in some bit of Galamsey?
So, yes, as long as what you are doing, because everything has been regulated in the sector, It's only the small scale, which is legislations are difficult to implement or adapted region from region, but most of them, and they don't usually fully respect them. Sometimes for different reasons. But of course, it's profit maximization. That is their concern, which made them sometimes short circuit things. If you don't pay your taxes properly, if you don't pay your duties properly, if you take the gold as doré, it's not refined 99.99, and you take it to go and refine it outside. The gold, the whole production of the year may be like this table for the big ones, and the helicopter costs $300,000-$500,000. That's about 10 kilos of gold. So it's easy, and gold, if you see the 1 kilo, is as flat as your mobile phone. So it's easy to take them out of the country, and they can easily declare 20-30% of their production against their balance sheet, and then the rest is gone. So let's illegal money is in every sector.
So let's see. Do you think that as a country we are deriving the best, and we are deriving enough of resources and maybe foreign exchange from these multinational companies that are mining in Ghana?
Well, certainly not. In fact, we are being raped by everywhere, and ourselves, even we are doing it, the prices at which we sell, the conditions of other foreigners coming in, buying the concessions and bullying people. There is anybody who says that he can sell and the government gets its full taxes is not giving you the correct picture. It is just not getting much. Hence also the need to streamline. Processes exist, methodologies exist. In fact, when we did our research at Solomon Investment, or SIGL, Solomon Investment Group Limited, we realized that you have to classify artisanal work, where even keep the job for goldsmiths. You have to classify proper small scale, which require different type of equipment and inputs. That's why the Chinese have their distance. Then you have the medium and then the large. And each one of them requires different methodology, and it requires different approaches. And if you really want to do that well, you also have to take into consideration that we must develop quickly a refinery, a world-class refinery, not the assaying and the so-called refineries that we have so far, which are the beginning, which is necessary as startup activities that respect. As long as you cannot have gold properly with 99 purity, valid for the world market, hallmarked, as we call it, London Bullion Market Association standard, you surely never reap maximum from it. And what is existing already, even you must start computerizing it. Let me use the word computerizing, because computerizing is a simpler way of explaining artificial intelligence and digitization. Okay. Of course, there are sometimes even people who are talking about certain government officials who are pushing digitization. I support it totally, and there are many things that they are doing, including community mining. Call it which way. When we did our research, we call it cooperative mining.
So let's get into community mining.
Yes.
How did the implementation of community mining by this government, how did that go for you?
Yes, the implementation of community mining, in fact, that is the relationship that I'm doing. I'm saying that as long as you cannot modelize and regulate things, and as long as you are dealing with gold is primary money, is the number one of all monies.
True.
The rest are credit and other facilities. And if you are taking gold from the ground, greed and the rest come in. And if somebody has the slightest expertise or leverage of power to do this, and the more you can control it, and for that matter, it creates a law of the jungle. However, our studies, and which part of which government is also playing almost their part of what they can do together with the private sector to grow the industry properly, has revealed to us that you will go through a gestation period where you know where the balance of forces are. Since whatever is illegal is underground, the players and the forces, you have to see them grow for a while. So yes, government was trying to implement their side. We wanted also to start, but all of us would find it that on the ground, all the underground forces will not come out. Well, now that they've all appeared and we all know what it is, some will tell you that, okay, do it at national level, others say send it to district level, others say the chiefs, others will say this and that. They are all human beings. In fact, even policemen and the rest, they are human beings. Everything needs a control, balance, and check. No matter how this, in fact, whether it's in every activity, human activity requires that. And since it's a new industry, and since it's a check and balance, allow people to make money and profit and create jobs. On the other side, government being somebody who monitoring, they are still human beings which will be there. The only way out, therefore, we believe is that the community money, yes, is facing challenges, is normal. The rivers are getting polluted again, and we have been saying it for almost more than since 2008 that Solomon Investment has been recommending as a blueprint, 2006 blueprint that we started putting for decades now, that unless you digitize and computerize those methodologies, make it even easy for the small scale miner to work. All the international companies who are must pass through the process. You can control them better, you can know everything. The integrity of systems will not only bring down the diversion, illegal distance, it will also increase productivity.
Talking about monitoring, we've heard the interministerial committee that was supposed to fight Galamsey in this country.
That's right.
And we've seen videos.
Yes.
We saw videos of people in the Flagstaff house receiving bribes.
That's right.
And that is an indication that even if we set these mechanisms in place, corruption can still play its role.
Okay, all right, thank you. Maybe let me give a picture of how artificial intelligence plays. Let's take a standard small scale miner.
Okay.
His place, first of all, you'll be able to, when you digitize and put artificial intelligence and blockchain technology, you will be able to know where he's starting from, where he should start production. If he needs some products, the product can be brought. Even you can use drones, you can use surveillance.
That's a whole system.
It is a system that you have to put in place. Hence, the need to study and create a pattern. And that's the modelization. Okay. If you don't modelize, you cannot computerize. So you write the algorithm, the computer language, according to what it is, and then it will work. To the extent that we've developed, our tests go in many fields. Rehabilitation, reclamation, how to clean the waters, but they require different patents and technologies.
Doc, let me hold you for a second.
Thank you.
And let me go for a commercial break.
Thank you.
And when we come back,
yes,
the conversation will continue.
Thank you.
So let's go for a break. We'll be back.
This is Ghana News TV, your most authoritative news channel.
It is all about the happenings in Ghana, Africa, and the rest of the world.
With deep analysis, thought-provoking discussions, and up-to-date follow-ups on the beat. We ask the critical questions with you in mind.
Make us your channel of choice and get informed.
Ghana News TV, when you need to be.
So thank you so much for watching the news on Ghana News TV. We are coming to you live from the Crown Bar in Laboni, a very nice and a very cozy place that you can relax with your family and friends. Just take some time off and come to the Crown Bar, and I assure you, you will enjoy yourself here. Everything you need, the drinks are here, the food, and the beautiful music that you need to relax. You can be rest assured the Crown Bar will give that to you. So Doc, let's get back to the discussion on how we can turn things around, especially in relation to Galamsey.
That's right. What I'm saying is as before our break, I was explaining a model activity of taking a small scale mining company. We are planning, we would give them telephones which have a program on it, like a WhatsApp kind of program, which will tell you in local dialect how you should process today, what whether there's an excavator coming, which product you are sending out,
wow,
surveillance and the rest. That's artificial intelligence for you. And beyond that, when you are selling, it gets through the process all the way to the final destination. Everything is inbuilt. Payment to you, taxes, everything is done automatically.
Great.
And it is all connected all the way to refinery and to the final user. When you do that,
how do we finance such models?
Very good. Our approach is, that's what government is doing its part, and we are certainly coming on board soon to do our part as a private sector to give support services to the small scale miners.
Great.
The support services include finance, equipment, and training.
Great.
The only difference is that we were proning more for training on the job.
Training on the job.
Rather than on the job training, rather than going to Institute of Engineering or Takwa School of Mines and the rest. Much more so, most of the people are semi-illiterate or illiterate, but they are not stupid. Ghanaians are not stupid. If you teach them, if he knows that he's going to do this today and the rest, and his telephone is telling him what to do and what he's expecting, we feel that is the best way out. And you eliminate everything. The processes are clean. There is a process also which takes care automatically retainerships on even for reclamation, rehabilitation, to develop other alternative livelihood activities like agriculture and the rest out of the field. So everything is controlled. It goes the same to those which will go to funds, special funds. In fact, some were created, governments weren't very articulate about it, or maybe the mechanism for structure like Ajapa cause problems, but there is mineral investment funds. There are so many other things that we can talk about there. Even the marketing, some people marketed out too big margins, then the whole thing without production. It's a whole cycle from the mines.
And the moment we break one, the whole system doesn't work anymore.
Okay.
And it's a very comprehensive system that will get the whole Galamsey.
Exactly. So the whole Galamsey process, because the Galamsey person, his goal that is taken out is supposed to have a well market price.
Exactly.
And he should get his fair due at each level of the chain, of the value chain.
The reason why the ordinary Ghanaian will not understand what you're saying is that we believe that their activities are costing us as a nation more. Now, it is clear now that Japan has decided to ban our cocoa beans because they found some mercury bit in it. So the activity of Galamsey is costing us as a country.
That's right.
And the Ghana Water Company is also complaining about the pollution of our water bodies.
In fact, health is water bodies and all those things, the infections from diseases, the wrong use of chemicals. It is a big thing. That is why, well, if others are able to mine, Ghanaians too should be able to mine. Even the illiterate Ghanaian, when the thing is put on artificial intelligence model and it's telling him go left, go right, it will even increase the average 2 to 3 kilos to about 20 to 30 kilos per concession.
Great.
That is what the studies have proven to us. And that productivity, in fact, it's a 5-year development program, integrated development program, multi-sectorial also, because it does feed into refinery, jewelry production, tourism and the rest naturally, because you have to develop the industrial base, and there are certain horizontal inputs like machines, chemical production and all those things and the rest. We should be able to create an average about $2 million.
Is there any way Solomon Investment Group Limited can engage a private sector partner to be able to implement this 5-year plan?
Yes, we are in the process of doing that. We have identified all the different partners at all different stages. But since, as I said, even government try to control and implementing the community mining is having difficulties. You will know that since we were starting it at that time as a private company, the task was even bigger until we even we were the first to start exporting gold, and we stopped because our principals would not want tinted gold.
Great.
So the slogan now is green gold.
Green gold.
And the green gold, government cannot achieve it that way without computerizing the whole system. And that is the computerization which saves the thing. And I'm saying that what are the advantages? If the country can move from lower to upper income group, the whole production total will be between, on the pessimistic side, 80 billion to 120, 150 billion production. Wow. Consolidated, all sectors concerned, which have been created as a movement through this program. It changes everything. So it will, by far, in fact, the people will train. Even the Galamsey person can leave tomorrow and say, I'm from Ghana, therefore you know you are from Gold Coast, you know how to mine. They will, in fact, jewelry production, there is a lot of advantages, and the reclamation of the lands will be there. The waters, we do have developed patents.
So let's take that one. Let's take it one after the other.
Yes.
Let's talk about first the reclamation under this mechanism.
Yes.
How is it supposed to be done? Then we can look at the water bodies.
Yes. People talk about reclamation and rehabilitation.
Okay.
Reclamation is shorter period. Rehabilitation is longer period.
Okay.
But the money is for it. The research to know even what kind of activity, comparative advantage is best suited for the area, goes through the same process like any business partner, where not only you do feasibility studies, you do tests and the rest. So the day that the miner is working, there is part of the commission is retained by the artificial intelligence block system to be going into that activity and be preparing it.
Great.
So much that by the time, I believe that a good cycle is about 10 years, 15 years maximum for a concession to be properly depleted if you use heavy methods of industrialization, artificial intelligence to take out all the gold, including the alluvial gold and all those things. So that is the process. However, there's a lot of backlog of these things there. It will take almost about 1 or 2 billion tons of soil turnaround each year, and there are facilities around the world. The government has now got insight into them. Some are related to environmental protection, others in climate change and the rest, which all these are factors which create them. So there are a lot of facilities today which can now be used, streamlined properly into the computerized system to really taking care of them.
Now, how would that this mechanism deal with the water bodies? Because they are
the water bodies everywhere. Actually, their method of mining also has to be respected, and it will be automatically respected. You have a certain space between certain river banks.
Okay.
There is a standard way of creating the ponds.
Okay.
For washing the gold. There are certain machines that are used. In fact, there is a special. It's like a fan. Okay. But it moves different oscillation, ionization.
Great.
That is, if you want it to catch sand, it will catch sand. If you want it to catch gold, it will catch gold. If you want it to catch silver, you just have to switch it and put it in, and we do the dredging. So all those things can be purified. The same as cleaning of the water, but it's not a one-day thing. It goes fast, luckily, because sedimentation in Ghana is very good. Between the clay soil and the metals, it easily settles. Okay. So we do have hope. It is not too late.
Okay.
But the period, this is rather not, the implementation period has been long and not seem successful.
Okay.
But it tells you that it's more or less a gestation period to test what works and what human factors or unforeseen technical factors are not working. True. So that when you are going to modelize, you modelize it more accurately. with the correct algorithms and the rest.
And with the mechanism, are the small scale miners still going to use the mercury, and are they going to still use the mercury? Or?
No, the mercury has already been banned in Ghana.
Okay.
And there are alternatives.
Okay.
And also, that's what I'm saying, mining is a complex thing. So when you do it wrongly, you get the wrong decision.
Exactly.
The approach to alluvial, okay, that is the soft one,
yeah.
And the rock is different, okay. And then also the size of your concession also can determine the approach, okay, and the kind of equipment you use.
Okay. So mercury is not used in all sort of mining.
Mercury may still be used sparingly with certain permissions, but the washing is not at all the right thing to do.
Great.
And some of the security or gears that people use for working, almost from artisanal to large-scale mining, all of them have norms and standards which are not applied.
Okay.
And you can't sometimes blame people for not knowing it. And the only way is that your products are coming, it's adapted. In fact, certain laws even will be readapted. For instance, they will tell you that an excavator cannot go to a small scale.
Okay.
But if there are 5 or 6 of them, or 10 of them, and Monday he comes to your end, Tuesday he goes there, the soil that you turn around is different. And if you wash it well and do every process well, then you are still legitimate. You have to do what we call best practices which already exist, and the new ones discovered, applied. How
can you connect with government
in
implementing this model that can bring a total turnaround?
Yes,
in the
we are already in our concept. Every project that we are doing, government is coming in as 10% for each activity as stakeholder.
Great.
So we are more or less expected to be, even some places they will offer land for refinery, they will offer 10% this and this all over, and the sharing of the dividend and profit also go along that. But we strongly believe that you can't really do these activities, even though we believe that we, the private sector, and Solomon in particular, are the people more poised to bring the right productivity and the right approach to this kind of business. There is no part of which will not require government presence on the board and in the process.
That's true.
So we have conceptualized our model, business model, as each time government owning 10% shares for each activity.
Great. Let's see, it is important for the Minister of Lands and all the other sectors that are connected to the mining sector to consider sitting down with the Solomon Investment Group Limited to understand this concept. Most importantly, see how it can help in dealing with the issue of Galamsey.
That's right.
Because I don't think that as a country we've done enough to control and fight issues of Galamsey. If we don't adapt this mechanism that you're talking about, I think we are going on a very bad trajectory, and it will not end well.
That's true.
But let me ask you about government's own fight in terms of their fight against Galamsey. How will you assess government's fight?
Government's fight,
deploying of military men into the fields, arresting and burning excavators.
You see, unfortunately for us, this is a permanent activity to go on forever.
Okay.
You can mobilize a campaign, and like every campaign is like a war. But it cannot be sustained because there are human elements, factors which come in. And as long as a process of security, most of the time when you do computer programs, you have your Momo and the rest. There are people who still try to hack into it.
That's true.
But hackers and the rest at that level, they don't penetrate, man. They don't do much damage. So the process still exists, the activity exists. If you go into a shop, you are buying anything, normally there is a certain percentage that normal supermarkets add, 10%.
Yeah.
Okay, roughly against theft. It's not because that's human nature. But whereby you want to mount a campaign, You can do it once or twice, but it cannot be sustained, because as long as the human beings are going, they will still be, and it doesn't stop. It goes in crescendo. He who steals an egg will sell a cow.
That's true. That's a serious addiction.
Exactly. So
he who steals an egg will certainly steal a cow.
Yes, as long as you allow him to go on, he will end up there.
Okay.
And anyone who is making money and say he's satisfied, no. But if you are 30 years old, you got your house, you got your car, you want a second car, exactly. You want this one, you want that one, and the sky is the limit. Bill Gates still wants to make money, true. Isn't it? So that is how it is. So the same thing is not sustainable. You do the best practices, you computerize it. The campaign, so government campaign, to answer fully, at height of the campaign, it does work. You can't expect somebody who come and who takes chances on his political career and tell you that I'll tackle something if he doesn't want to tackle it. But when we who went on the ground see what it is there, we still maintain that if you don't computerize it, but it has come out to that extent now that we all believe that that's the best way. So I can only thank you for sharing the same view with us on the matter. And
the president even described, or he said that he will put his presidency on the line, yes, if he is to make sure that Galamsey doesn't exist in the country. But Galamsey is everywhere. Yeah, Galamsey everywhere, and in actual fact, as I was saying, it's all over everywhere. It's not only, in fact, one of our best experts which work with us is a descendant of Abraham Lincoln. Okay. Of America, great. Motherlode companies, and they work mainly on small-scale manners, and they also tell you that they also have Galamsey there, so they want to adopt the term Galamsey to describe it. Like, so, seriously? Oh yes. And this is in the US? Oh yes, that's in the US. The person worked with us, do the research here, we confirm that that is a permanent situation. And how do you solve it? Especially in third world, where processes and controls and the rest are not tight like over there. And we all agree that it's only digitization, computerization, and create, you know, we call it blockchain technology. Blockchain technology. To block certain things sector by sector and make certain things certain way. Without it to not work. It's called Dr. Well, he's my friend. He worked with me here successfully, and we developed even how to clean the rivers and all those things. So government is willing to work with us. And so if the president is going to put his presidency on the yes, line. That side of it, what I would say is that, because if he is not able to do much now, the activity, when you are implementing something, computerization requires you implement, have the process tested as a pilot before you computerize, and they have done that on behalf of all. Okay. Now we are going to computerize, and the process shows some improvement at a certain time. Okay. Maybe that's why he has managed to be re-elected again. But now, as a legacy, it is of course important for him to also believe in what we are saying, to make it sustainable, and therefore it will change the whole situation. I picked one important point, and that is to say that this is a sector that brings in a lot of money, and it's going to be there forever. The only thing we can do is to look at a more sustainable method and process, that is what just as you are professing. That's what we are professing, and that's what we tested the system for. We wasted 4.5 years of research and development. 4.5 years on the field with about 12 people, and it's done by Solomon Investment Group Limited, to come up with all these results and this recommendation. We pilot tested them before sending a blueprint to government, and then they also which particular government, or you mean successive governments? Successive government. We started Solomon Investment. The whole process started earlier. Okay. But Solomon Investment was created in 2006. Great. Renewed later, and then there are other activities that we stopped to go back to the field to test different things. Sometimes it takes more than you might expect. Great. And then when you find them, you go back and correct them
until our blueprint was submitted just when the president came to power.
President Akufo-Addo.
President Akufo-Addo.
Okay.
And
have you had any meetings with the ministers in charge to discuss the blueprint?
Yes, right from the first minister. We are planning to organize a partnership to solve Galamsey.
Great.
To use intelligent artificial already with Ghana Gold Expo.
Great.
We'll talk to the minister because the ministry rather will take care of the creating of the joint venture ships.
Great.
And since it's a multi-sectorial across the border, we got also the approval of the Ministry of Trade and Industry.
Great.
It's only that we are now going to launch the activities together, and we are talking as to how to go about it. And if it happens, it will be good for the country because quickly we can stabilize our city. We can create more than 2 million jobs. Most of the dreams of the economy, as published by both opposition and government, will easily come to fruition.
So let me say that
it's a 5-year development program, and government is going through a world-bound process now.
Okay.
They can only, it's a short-term measure that they are taking to get this, and if this comes relate, it may go 5 years, but at least it can be well started before the end of the.
So this is a clear indication of what people normally say, that when life throws lemons at you, you just have to sit back and use it to prepare some beautiful lemonades.
Exactly.
Now, we are calling illegal mining Galamsey and giving it all the bad names.
Yes.
But if we can develop this model with the help of artificial intelligence, it is clear that this menace will be changed into a more profitable venture that will give our economy the boost that we need. So it is important for both government, private sector, and all industry players to sit at the table and discuss this very, very important point, because this is the only turnaround that we need to be able to stop Galamsey completely.
Absolutely.
Doc.
To that, we are planning to have a stakeholders conference in conjunction with government and others distance, and I think you have been able to read properly into it, and I appreciate your passion for that, and that is the right way to go.
I'm grateful. I've never thought about this, but you've opened my mind to this, and I think it's important. Doc, let's conclude.
Yes.
What would you like to say to our miners, to government, and all the other stakeholders?
Well, I believe that we have gold as a blessing. It is not a curse. The Galamsey activity has rather revealed the challenges in it for us, and there is a scientific way to solve this problem, and it will be beneficial to government, the small-scale miners themselves who have a better standard of living, better conditions of work, and as well as chiefs and other leaders of the country will all be benefiting from this program. There will be a lot of corporate social activities, responsibility activities, and it is multi-sectoral. It will spread through the system, create jobs. In fact, we believe that at least we can create, after the first 2 years, about 2 million jobs a year, send the Ghana economy to a middle or higher income group, stabilize the city, which is important, and most of all, do help other sectors of activities like education and development of further artificial intelligence technologies to other sectors. Thank you very much.
So, a very insightful discussion. I've never thought about this. Even coming for this interview, I never knew this was what was in stock for us. But I enjoyed every bit of it. This is mind-blowing. This is what we ought to do. The talk is becoming too much. We need action.
Action.
And this is action to be able to This is action and implementation.
Make Ghana the gold city of the world.
The gold city of the world.
The gold city of the world is the concept. That is the theme of our company. And gold city of the world.
And the ideal thing is that even the small scale miner, who we call the Galamsey, will even make greater gains.
He will make greater gain. If you are producing 2 to 3 kilos, this program gives you to produce 20 to 30 kilos.
That's great.
You are more healthy. All the challenges are taken away from you. You don't have to be rushing to be looking at how to sell your product easily. You don't have to be rushing. In fact, security guards and everything is protected for your workers. You have opportunity to glide into other sectors of activities and investment. You turn yourself as a model businessman and make Ghana's dream possible.
And most importantly, we are keeping our environment safe.
Our environment safe,
water bodies are...
agricultural distance brought back to normal, and our children can go to school. Adult people can get jobs more easily, and
this is just ideal. This is just the way to go.
It is a program. It is, nobody has
thought about it
and objected to it.
True.
And everybody has approved of it. It is the implementation that has challenges, but I still say again, the challenges have become a blessing because it showed us what and what
you have to do.
We have to do to correct and do this.
Okay.
That's what we call normal implementation studies.
Exactly.
So the taking over of certain activities, people who started certain businesses, concessions, as well as exports, assaying and so-called refineries, whatever you call them, to the mercury side, to the equipments used, to rehabilitation, everything has more or less been a period of test, and then now the sky is a heaven. Let's make Ghana a better Dubai.
Say something to the lands minister. Call him to the table and let him understand that this is the only way to go.
Mr. Minister, I'm coming back to see you soon, and then we'll make Ghana a better place. We'll be very independent very soon of even needing to borrow money from distance. Some call it Ghana without its, but I don't want to talk politics. One district, one dam, one village,
one factory.
One factory.
One district, one factory.
One district, one factory. One DF. You see anything?
Yeah, one D, one F.
One F. All those things are real possibilities, including things that the Minister of Trade and Industry and all the other ministries are doing, including the President and Vice President. Even certain things that I permit myself to say the former government did before being in opposition are all encapsulated in this program. It's a comprehensive one, and I'm sure that you've all seen it, and then we are now going to start doing it quickly for Mother Ghana. Thank you very much.
I want to say a very big thank you to first the Crown Bar for giving us the space. Just as I said, the Crown Bar is a very nice and cozy area that you can enjoy yourself with beautiful music, nice and beautiful food and drinks all over the place. A place that you can relax with family and friends. So take some time off, spend some weekend at the Crown Bar in Labone, and you enjoy yourself. I also want to say a very big thank you to you, Dr. Kpoder. He is the CEO of Solomon Investment Group Limited, and they've done a lot of work in this sector of mining and how we can correct issues of Galamsey with artificial intelligence. It is important for us as people to start walking the talk, and this is one of the steps of walking the talk in this particular sector. So let's all come together and support the group, and let's urge government on to get on board so we can get issues of Galamsey done with and also increase productivity and also grow the economy. I'm grateful for your time. This is the news. My name is Derek Kwame Butchie. Certainly we'll meet again.